Hello everybody, welcome to another selected chapters video on YouTube. Please click like and subscribe so that I can record longer videos than 15 minutes. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how people dismiss artificial intelligence or tools like ChatGPT, like they are not thinking, they're just guessing words, they are just doing some statistics and predicting the next word and so on. Like this is some disqualification of artificial intelligence. But actually, in my mind, this is sort of a miracle that this is actually happening. So ChatGPT is just statistically somehow predicting the next word correctly, grammatically correct, in the right context, logically coherent and so on, much better than average humans. So if you talk about any topic with average Joe, first of all, I think average people are not aware of most of the topics in this world that are part of the human collective knowledge, let's say. They only know some very minor details about the entirety of human knowledge. But somehow these people think that they are better than ChatGPT. But in my mind, it's clear that ChatGPT and similar tools like Gemini, Perplexity, and so on are superior to humans in this language/reasoning/thinking part. But when I say reasoning and thinking, it's like we know what this means, but I think we still are missing the properly defined terms. When we say intelligence, thinking, reasoning, each and every one of us has its own definition inside our minds. And if we try to compare these definitions, they are not going to be the same. So this is also something that I see missing in this AI discussion about how it's going to affect our future as a human species. Okay, so when you say AI is just token predictor, it is just statistics, just predicts the next word, this sounds like disqualification, but it actually reveals misunderstanding from our side of what is actually happening. Not even what is happening, because this is a black box to us, but it's like we are missing a proper understanding of the output of whatever the AI is doing. So we do not understand how our own mind is working. Yes, of course, we can monitor our brain activity and so on, see some electrical impulses, some alpha, beta, theta waves and so on. And then we connect this to some higher reasoning or lower reasoning or some procedural thinking or whatever. But this is like looking at the complex engine with internal combustion that we do not understand how it's working and what is inside, what kind of mechanisms and so on, what are the laws that are governing this motors or engine functionality, and we are just using infrared camera to see where the heat is distributed on this engine. So this is like when we are looking at our brain. But this is nothing. This has nothing to do with our understanding of how thoughts are formed. Why am I thinking the way I'm thinking? Why are these words coming out of my mouth? What makes me do this? And what is motivation to do this? Why do I choose one thing over another thing? Yes, I understand that some people will say, yeah, we know how to do this, we understand this, but in my mind, this is far from understanding. This is just looking at the thing and saying, yeah, this is the distribution of heat around the engine. What is inside? Well, we don't know, but we are going to make an educated guess anyway. So this is what we are doing. So when we say this is just a word prediction, this sounds like disqualification, but this actually tells us more about our misunderstanding and lack of understanding than of what is actually happening. So when you say just predicts the next token, this is not a flaw. This is a miracle. So this is really a miracle. Of course, large language models literally are doing just what I said. They are guessing. Actually, guessing is the wrong term because guessing is something we humans do. But in this case, it would be better to say predicting the next word based on some pattern recognition and the training data and so on. So it just predicts. But in order to predict the next word correctly, let's say, the large language model or the tool that is built upon this model, like ChatGPT, must understand my query, language, context, some nuances, some specificities, and so on. It must evaluate all other possibilities, from very trivial to deeply abstract possibilities. It needs to filter among billions of candidates based on everything he's ever saw or learned or actually trained upon. So this is very huge space to look for possible next word. And then what ChatGPT is actually doing, it chooses the most likely continuation that is not only grammatically correct, but also meaningful in content, logically coherent within the theme of the conversation, and it makes sense. Overall, the complete sentence or paragraph makes sense, and it makes sense much more than when average person does the same thing. So it doesn't matter if it really thinks or not, or it guesses whatever it's doing, but the output of process of ChatGPT, which is maybe just guessing, it's much better than what this average person is doing. And we know, or we actually accept that normal person is actually doing some thinking, some reasoning, some very hard work in his mind. And even after that hard work and all the years of experience and learning about the world, ChatGPT is better than average person. This is so significant to understand and to recognize that I cannot emphasize this enough. So this is crucial to understand if we are going to build a world in which AI has its own place without destroying us humans, let's say. So this is just me jumping to the end. But I think this is very important. So this is like saying the brain is just electrical impulses in your head. But when you say just electrical impulses, this is everything that you are. So whatever is happening in your brain, this is what you are. Your expressions are coming from your brain. How? We do not know this exactly, but somehow it comes out of your brain. Which perhaps suggests that we humans, in this just predicting the next word, when we talk about ChatGPT, have stumbled upon something we do not adequately recognize yet, let alone understand. So this is important. We stumble upon something, we do not recognize what it is. We're just dismissing it like it's not thinking, it's just guessing, but we are looking at it like in fear. We're not sure what it is, but we are sticking our heads in the sand and don't care what it is. We're just going to wave our hands and hope it's going to go away. No, it's not going to go away. It is going to become much more powerful, and we must be able to handle this. Okay, so when we talk to ChatGPT, it's like we are talking to the collective human knowledge. It's not perfect yet, of course, but don't worry about it. It's going to happen soon enough. So the ChatGPT, we're supposed to look at it like interface to the collective human knowledge. Not just knowledge, but experience, all the errors we made, all the progresses we made, all the errors we corrected. So ChatGPT knows about all of that, and average human doesn't know about this. So this is very important to understand. So, of course, it's just doing some statistics, but on absolutely every thought or that is expressed by humans through entire history. So large language models are trained on billions of words, if not trillions of words. So in philosophy, science, literature, law, psychology, and so on, it knows about all the arguments that we made as human species, all the philosophers, all the school of thoughts, all the ontologies and epistemologies, and so on, all the misconceptions, aphorisms, metaphors, criticisms, and so on. So everything that we produced. And if after all that, ChatGPT answers your question more meaningfully than most people, then you might be embarrassed not because of the ChatGPT and his word guessing, but because of yourself and the fact that that whatever ChatGPT is doing, it's better than your deliberate thinking. So this is, I think, something to be aware of, and not just to dismiss AI and ChatGPT like they're not thinking, they're not reasoning, they're just guessing words. Okay, we can say that it's just guessing words, but whatever it's doing, the output in the end is better than what most humans are capable of doing today. But this is only a few years in developing these tools. Okay, so this is important to understand. So in 10, 15, 20 years, you can imagine what is going to be the case. So ChatGPT just predicts the next word, of course, but this is maybe what we are doing. Who knows what is happening in my mind? Why am I saying this word after some other word? Okay, so this is important. But my understanding of language and my creating of sentences is also some form of prediction, but not based on billions of examples, but on my own limited experience and knowledge about the reality. And it is important to note that most people, or actually every human being, doesn't know everything there is to know. We only know about a very small part of all the human knowledge combined. So if this paper is human knowledge, then my part in my head is only a tiny portion of this. And ChatGPT or tools in the future, similar to ChatGPT, are going to be trained on entirety of human knowledge. Of course, today is also not the case that they are trained on the entirety of human knowledge, because there are a lot of books that are not in digital form and so on. But for practical purposes, they are trained on huge amounts of data that is beyond any human being able to comprehend or to have in its own head. So when I predict the next word or whatever I'm saying, maybe it's not predicting the next word, but it doesn't matter. This thing that I'm saying is based on my limited experience and my limited knowledge about the reality. And what ChatGPT is doing is predicting the next word based on the entirety of human knowledge. This is important to understand. So in conclusion, yes, of course, AI just predicts the next word, but it's doing it better than you. And while you use your intuition and whatever you have in your head, your knowledge, experience, and so on, AI is using humanity's collective thought capital, let's say. So everything we ever thought of, everything we ever wrote, all the Shakespeares and Hamlets and Dostoevskys and Socrates and Plato's and so on, everything is inside ChatGPT's mind. So when you talk about philosophy, for example, maybe you don't know about Wittgenstein or I don't know any other philosopher, but ChatGPT knows about them and he knows their work. He understands what they were thinking, understand quote marks, and he can compare them. I'm not sure how many people knows all the philosophers and what they talked about, what they wrote and so on. Very, very few, if any human. So that is very important. And also one last thing, what I done here in this paper is done by help of ChatGPT because whatever I wrote, I asked ChatGPT to give me critical analysis, to say what is wrong with my thinking, why this is good or bad and so on. So I use it as a reflection of my own thinking to improve my thinking. And at the end, ChatGPT asked me, if you want, I can formulate this answer for you as a rhetorical mini essay or reply for public discussion or a YouTube video with a strong opening and closing. Do you want me to do this? How many people you know that are able to create this type of content that you just heard on this video? And also asked you about, do you want me to create more rhetorically advanced video, or do you want me to go maybe more into the emotional side or logical side and so on? So very few people can do this. So when I hear people saying on the internet that ChatGPT is just guessing words, it's like they do not even see what is happening, that this is just the beginning. And even in these very early stages of AI development, ChatGPT, which is very, let's say, simple tool in what is actually possible, it's better than most people in language, in thinking about the reality of language, let's say, all the knowledge, all the logical structures and constructs and so on. So you can only imagine what's going to happen. So I think it's not useful or it's even detrimental to say that ChatGPT is just guessing words. It's much better to approach it more seriously and say, okay, we do not understand what is happening. Yeah, we can say this is some sort of statistics, but whatever it is, the output is better than most humans. What will be in 10 years? We have to be prepared for this. Of course, we are not able to change the flow of history, not any individual, but we could prepare much better than just waving our hands and hope it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's going to become much more powerful. So this is what we must be aware of. Thank you for your time and attention. Video is almost 15 minutes, so I have to go. But please click like and subscribe so that I can give much more in-depth reviews about all these topics. Thank you and goodbye.